Karl-Anthony Towns is at training camp with the New York Knicks after this deal took forever to get official. It is finally official. We see Cat arrives. He's talking to Tom Thibodeau, talking it up, chopping it up with Jalen Brunson. Now, the New York Knicks did not hold a formal press conference because they are in Charleston during this training camp. They are not in their normal practice facility in Tarrytown. So I'm sure if they were back in Tarrytown, we would have had a formal press conference. But Cat is with the New York Knicks, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. Getting acclimated with the system, getting acclimated with the players. And he had some interesting things to say to the media that we'll go over in a second. And of course, Tom Thibodeau had a lot of interesting things to say to the media as well, including one in particular thing that I wanted to get to. Now let's keep the ball rolling. Training camp continues in a pivotal year for the New York Knicks. Championship aspirations, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson. But I'm also intrigued to find out what the other guys are doing. Tyler Kolek, Jericho Sims, Precious Achiuwa, OG Anunoby. We see him shooting with Precious Achiuwa. Also, the New York Knicks have signed TJ Warren to a training camp invite, aka the Bubble Master. He was balling out in the NBA bubble. Just a scorer in himself. Kind of reminds me of kind of like an Alec Burks type. We also love to see Jericho Sims working with Mark Bryant on the side. Mark Bryant is a maestro in terms of working with bigs, and he's the newly acquired coach that came over from Detroit. We see him working with Jericho Sims here, and we just love to see that. Jericho Sims, I'm expecting a good season out of him. All right, now let's get to the Karl-Anthony Towns questions. He was interviewed by the Knicks media. Once again, he didn't have a formal press conference because the Knicks are not in New York, but he was asked, is there a message to the fans? From Karl to the New York Knicks fans. I loved his answer. Take a listen.
Message from you to the fans about obviously you coming in here, expectations and what you plan to bring?
I mean, we're just going to continue to work hard every single day, never take one practice for granted, and just try to every night go out there and be the best version of ourselves.
You've had time to play at the Garden. Now you come in and it's going to be your home. Have you thought about that?
I mean, it's our home. It's not my home, it's our home. These guys have done something special there last year, and JB's been building something special there. So this is our home. I just here to, like I said, amplify them and be the best teammate I can be.
Be the best teammate I can be. This is our home. This is not my home. I'm from Jersey. I'm coming back to the area, but this is our home. Karl-Anthony Towns put the teams first. And you could see he's putting what the Knicks have built has been so special. He just wants to add to that, and he will add to that. This will be an amazing year. I love that answer from Karl-Anthony Towns right there. All right, here is another question. Karl-Anthony Towns is being asked if playing for Tom Thibodeau early on in his career can help him adjust to this new situation, this new Knicks team.
Does that help you sort of like acclimate here?
I think it gives us a little bit of a head start. You know, I know the offense that he runs. I know the way he likes to play defense, and I know what he expects from his players. So I just think it gives us a little bit of a head start.
So look, a lot has been made with Tom Thibodeau and Karl-Anthony Towns. Their relationship kind of soured off towards his end of his tenure with the Minnesota Timberwolves, but Cat has just been professional about it. He was recently on Club Shay Shay saying that now that he is older, now that he has matured, he understands that, how Thibodeau works, and he's just appreciative of Tom Thibodeau, the coach. And now again, he is being coached by Tom Thibodeau, so full circle. I love it, absolutely love it. And you could tell that Karl-Anthony Towns has matured from his time in Minnesota to his time now. And Tom Thibodeau has said that in his press conferences as well. All right, let's get to Tom Thibodeau now. All right, so now here's Tom Thibodeau answering about Karl-Anthony Towns, about their relationship. Seemed like a hot button question, and for good reason. I mean, it was all up in the media. So here's Tom Thibodeau.
We've maintained, relationship through the years, and, so it's always good to see him, and it's great to have him on our team. So, it was a few days where everyone was chomping at the bit to get started, but that's part of, our league, and you have to go through different things, but it's great to have him out there with his teammates.
Does it help you a little that you have a knowledge of how, so you don't have to learn about the game and how he's effective?
Yeah, I think there is, there's some benefit, to having coached him before and know who he is as a person, but also to understand that, that was more than 5 years ago, so he's in a different place, he's a different player. And so there's going to be a learning curve, and we have to adjust quickly.
So as we just saw there, Tom Thibodeau says there's going to be a learning curve, even though he coached Karl-Anthony Towns, that was more than 5 years ago. He's a different player. He's a different person. Look, 5 years is a long time. I mean, even Tom Thibodeau has grown as a coach. I mean, he's not the same coach as he was in Minnesota in certain ways. So even though those two have familiarity with one another, you know, it's different. Different situation, different team, different conference. Cat is a different player than back then. All right, so somebody asked about the trade. Karl-Anthony Towns to New York, Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Tom Thibodeau gives his answer.
Right, you know, Julius and Donte added a lot to our team. Whenever we had a need, obviously, at the center position, so that was really the driving force behind it. And so, but we certainly appreciated everything both of those guys did for us. It's a tough decision to make, but we felt it was one that we had to make. And now we're excited to have Cat. I think to be able to get a player of his stature was huge, but you don't get a player like that without giving good players up. And so that's what we had to do, but we're excited about the team that we have.
Couple of things in that answer. So he pretty much says they felt like this is something they had to do. Remember, last week, Tom Thibodeau was flirting with the idea of Julius Randle playing the 5, but Tom Thibodeau does not like playing Julius Randle at the 5, and Knicks fans were excited to watch that. But throughout his tenure, he just liked to have a traditional center at the 5 position, or, you know, at least someone of Cat's size. He also said that, you know, you have to give to get. You have to give good players to get a great player. So Cat obviously is a monster. I mean, Cat is going to fit right in with this team. Essentially, all of that small ball talk that Tom Thibodeau was saying last week about Randle, it was all just air. I mean, it was just a bag of air. It was just, he knew that he didn't want to do that. Maybe the trade was in the works during that time, but it's interesting that he said that this is something that we had to do. So the Knicks felt inclined when Hartenstein went to OKC. Well, Mitchell Robinson is now on the shelf until January. They felt inclined to grab a center, and Cat was the best big out there, and they did it. Now Karl-Anthony Towns is a New York Knick. It's crazy to think about still. It's crazy to process. Also wanted to touch on a few notes that I've noticed that Tom Thibodeau has pretty much been talking highly of campaign. Landry Shamet, Deuce McBride, he's saying that he likes his depth on the bench. A lot of speculation now that Donte DiVincenzo is in Minnesota about the Knicks' depth. Tom Thibodeau says he loves the Knicks' depth. So he has trust in those guys. Hasn't mentioned Tyler Kolek yet, but Tyler Kolek is a rookie. He will go through training camp, and we see him working off to the side. Personally, I have high hopes for Tyler Kolek as well, but it's the beginning stages of training camp, so you never know. But I'm excited, man. I mean, first of all, to be a fly on the wall right here during this conversation with Tom Thibodeau and Karl-Anthony Towns, I would love to hear what they had to say to one another. But he's a Knick. I'm excited. Training camp is just getting started. It's official. Cat is in camp, and I just cannot wait till we get more news and more news and more news. That's the training camp recap for Karl-Anthony Towns, and I'm excited. Let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts about what he said? What do you want to see? What lineups do you want to see? I don't know. Just smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm Anthony from the Knicks Nation. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.